Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. Scrooge knew he was dead, of course. You'll therefore permit me to repeat emphatically that Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story I'm going to relate. Once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. His door was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk. He had a very small fire, but his clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it looked like one coal, but he couldn't replenish it, for Scrooge kept the coal box in his own room, wherefore the clerk put on his white comforter, tried to warm himself at the candle, in which effort, not being a man of strong imagination, he failed. Merry Christmas, Uncle, God save you. It was the voice of Scrooge's nephew, who came upon him so quickly that this was the first intimation he had of his approach. Bah, humbug! Christmas? A humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that, I'm sure. I do. Merry Christmas? What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough. Well, come then, what right have you to be dismal? You're rich enough. Bah, humbug! Don't be cross, Uncle. What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money, a time for finding yourself a year older but not an hour richer? If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stick of holly through his heart. Uncle, nephew! Keep Christmas in your own way. Let me keep it in mine. Keep it? You don't keep it. Let me leave it alone, then. Much good may it do you. Much good has it ever done you. Well, there are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I've not profited. I dare say Christmas among the rest. But I'm sure I've always thought of Christmas as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in the long calendar of the year when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely. And to think of people as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave, not another race of creatures bound to other journeys. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I say it has done me good. And it will do me good. And I say, God bless it. The clerk involuntarily applauded. Oh, bravo! Let me hear another sound from you, and you will keep your Christmas by losing your situation. You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into Parliament. Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow. Good afternoon. Why can't we be friends? Good afternoon. I'll keep my Christmas humour to the last. Merry Christmas, Uncle. Good afternoon. And a Happy New Year! Good afternoon! Letting Scrooge's nephew out, the clerk returned the greetings of the season cordially. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and let two portly gentlemen in. Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley? Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago, this very night. Well, we have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner, His liberality? At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable we make some slight provision for the poor and destitute who suffer greatly at this present time. Are there no prisons? Plenty of prisons, yes. Oh, and the union workhouses. Are they still in operation? They are. Oh, I was afraid from what you said at first something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. I'm very glad to hear it. You haven't got...
Mr. Scrooge, a few of us are endeavouring to raise a fund. To buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We choose this time because it's a time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. Well, what shall I put you down for?
Nothing. You wish to remain anonymous.
I wish to be left alone.
I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the establishments I have mentioned. They cost enough. Those who are badly off must go there. Many can't go there,
and many would rather die.
If they would rather die, they had better do it and decrease the surplus population. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Seeing plainly that it was useless to pursue their course, the gentleman withdrew. Scrooge returned to his labours with an improved opinion of himself when the owner of one scant young nose, gnawed by the hungry cold, stooped down at Scrooge's keyhole to regale him with a Christmas carol. But at the first sound of "God rest ye merry," Scrooge seized the ruler with such energy of action that the singer fled in terror. "Gentlemen!" At last, the hour of shutting up the counting-house arrived. Scrooge dismounted from his stool and tacitly admitted the fact to his expectant clerk, who instantly snuffed his candle out, put on his hat. You'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose. Oh, yeah, it is quite convenient, sir. It's not convenient. And it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound. Yet you don't find me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work. Well, it's only once a year. Sir, a poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But must have the whole day, I suppose. Be here all the earlier next morning. Scrooge walked out with a growl and went home. Now, having his key in the lock of the door, Scrooge saw in the knocker, not a knocker, but Marley's face. Marley's face! It was not in impenetrable shadow as the other objects in the yard were, but had a dismal light about it like a bad lobster in a dark cellar. And as Scrooge looked fixedly at this phenomenon, it was a knocker. Again. Scrooge put his hand upon the key, turned it sturdily, walked in and lighted his candle as if half expected to be terrified with the sight of Marley's pigtail sticking out into the hall. Pooh-pooh! It was pretty dark. Darkness is cheap. Scrooge liked it. He walked around his room to see that all was right. He had just enough recollection of the face to desire to do that. Nobody under the table, nobody under the sofa, a small fire in the grate, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet, nobody in his dressing gown, which was hanging up in a suspicious attitude against the wall. Quite satisfied, closed his door, locked himself in, double-locked himself in, which was not his usual custom, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel. His glance happened to rest upon a bell. It was a disused bell that hung in the room, and as he looked, he saw it begin to swing. It swung so softly in the outset, it scarcely made a sound. But soon it rang out loudly, and so did every bell in the house. This might have lasted half a minute or a minute, but it seemed an hour. The bells ceased as they had begun. Together. and they were succeeded by a clanking noise from deep down below, as if some person were dragging a heavy chain over the casks in the wine merchant's cellar below. The cellar door flew open with a booming sound, and then he heard the noise much louder on the floors below, then coming up the stairs, then coming straight towards his door. It's humbug still, I won't believe it. Without a pause, it passed through the heavy door before his very eyes. The same face, the very same. Marley. The chain he drew was clasped about his middle. It was long and wound about him like a tail, and it was made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses wrought in steel. What do you want with me? Much. Who are you? In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley. You don't believe in me. I don't. Why do you doubt your senses? Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach cheats them. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not? I do. I must. But why do spirits haunt the earth, and why do they come to me? It is required of every man the spirit within him should walk abroad amongst his fellow men. If that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. Oh. You are fettered. Tell me why. I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it, link by link and yard by yard. I girded it of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was full as heavy and as strong as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. Jacob, old Jacob Marley, tell me more. Speak comfort to me, Jacob. I have none to give, nor can I tell you what I must. Hear me, my time is nearly gone. I came here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate, Ebenezer. You will be haunted by 3 spirits. I think I'd rather not. Without their visit, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first when the bell tolls 1. Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over? For your own sake, remember what has passed between us. The spirit held up its hand, warning Scrooge to come no nearer, and floated out upon the bleak, dark night. Scrooge tried to say humbug, but stopped at the first syllable. I went straight to bed and fell asleep upon the instant. What? Why? It isn't possible. I could have slept through a whole day and far into another night. Was it a dream or not? Scrooge remembered on a sudden that the ghost had warned him of a visitation when the bell tolled 1. It's 1:45. The hour itself. Light flashed up into the room, and the curtains of his bed were drawn aside by a hand, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them, closer to it than I am now to you. It was a strange figure. Like a child, yet not so like a child as like An old man viewed through some supernatural medium which gave him the appearance of being diminished to a child's proportions. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white, as if with age, and yet the face, it had not a wrinkle in it. From the crown of its head there sprung a bright, clear jet of light, which was doubtless the occasion of its using a great extinguisher for a cap, which now it held under its arm. Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold to me? I am. Who? And what are you? I am the ghost of Christmas past. Of your past. And what business brought you here? Your reclamation. Take heed. Bear but a touch of my hand. There. They passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either hand. The city had entirely vanished. The darkness and the mist had vanished with it, for it was a clear, cold winter day with snow upon the ground. Good heavens! I was a boy in this place. I was bred here. Scrooge was conscious of 1,000 odours floating in the air, each connected with 1,000 thoughts and hopes and joys and cares long, long forgotten. Lead me where you will. You recollect the way, remember it? Why, I could walk it blindfold. Strange to have forgotten it for so many years. Let us go on. They walked along the road, Scrooge recognising every gate and post and tree, until a little market town appeared in the distance with its bridge, its church, and winding river. Some shaggy ponies now were seen trotting towards them, the boys on their backs, all in great spirits. They called to each other, until the broad fields were so full of merry music that the crisp air laughed to hear it. These are but shadows, they have no consciousness of us. The school is not yet deserted. Solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still. I know it. There was a chilly bareness in the school which associated itself somehow with too much getting up by candlelight and not too much to eat. A lonely boy was reading near a feeble fire. Poor boy. I wished... but it's too late now. Oh, what's the matter? Nothing. Oh, something, I think. No, There was a boy singing a Christmas carol at my door last night. I should like to have given him something. That is all. A little girl came darting in, threw her arms about the boy, kissing him often. I've come to bring you home, dear brother, to bring you home, for good and all, home for ever and ever. Oh, Father's so much kinder than he used to be. He sent me in a carriage to bring you, and we're to be together all the Christmas long and have the merriest time in all the world. Always a delicate creature whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart. So she had. She died a woman and had, as I think, children? One child. True. Your nephew. Yes. Let us see. Another Christmas. They were in the busy thoroughfares of a city where shadowy carts and coaches battled for the way, and all the strife and tumult of a real city were. Do you recognise this place? Know it? What? Was I apprenticed here? An old gentleman in a Welsh wig appeared. What? It's Fezziwig. It's old Fezziwig, alive again! Old Fezziwig looked up at the clock, which pointed to the hour of 7. He rubbed his hands, adjusted his capacious waistcoat, and called out, "Yo-ho there, Ebenezer, Dick!" Scrooge's former self, now grown a young man, came briskly in, followed by his fellow apprentice. Dick Wilkins. To be sure, bless me, yes, there he is. He was very much attached to me, was Dick. Dear, dear Dick Wilkins. Yo-ho, my boys, no more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick, Christmas Ebenezer. Let's have lots of room here. Clear away, my lads. It was done in a minute. Every movable was packed off as it was dismissed from public life for evermore. The floor was swept and watered, lamps trimmed, fuel was heaped upon the fire, and the warehouse was as snug and warm and dry and bright a ballroom as you would desire to see upon a winter's night. In came a fiddler with a music book, went up to the lofty desk and made an orchestra of it, and tuned like 50 stomach aches. In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast, substantial smile. In came the 3 Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came the 6 young followers whose hearts they broke. In came all the young men and women employed in the business. In came the cook with her cousin, the baker. In came the housemaid with her brother's particular friend, the milkman. In they all came anyhow and everyhow. In came the boy from over the way. There were dancers and there were more dancers. Cake, cold roast, mince pies, and plenty of beer. Then old Fezziwig stood out to dance with Mrs. Fezziwig. But if they had been twice as many people, 4 times, old Fezziwig would have been a match for them. So would Mrs. Fezziwig. As for her, she was worthy to be his partner in every sense of the term. And if that's not high praise, tell me higher and I'll use it. During the whole of this time, Scrooge had acted like a man out of his wits. His heart and soul were in the scene with his former self. He remembered everything, enjoyed everything, and underwent the strangest agitation. A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude. Small? Why is it not? He spent but a few pounds. 3 or 4, perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves this praise? It isn't that. It isn't that, Spirit. He has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune. What's the matter? Nothing. Oh, something, I think. No, I should like to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That is all. Let us see another Christmas. Again Scrooge saw himself. He was older now, a man in the prime of life. A fair young girl sat by his side, in whose eyes there were tears. It matters little. To you, very little. Another idol has displaced me. What idol has displaced you? A golden one. This is the even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth. You fear the world too much. What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I'm not changed towards you. Our contract was made when we were both poor and content to be so. And have I ever sought a release? In words? No, never. In what then? In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. I release you with a full heart for the love of him you once were. You may have pain at this, a very, very brief time, and then you will dismiss the recollection of it gladly as an unprofitable dream from which it happened well you awoke. May you be happy in the life you have chosen. Spirit, conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me? One shadow more. No more, no more. Show me no more. Remove me from this place. These are but shadows of the things that have been. They are what they are. Do not blame me. Remove me. I cannot bear it. Take me back. Haunt me no longer. Scrooge turned upon the ghost. In the struggle, if that can be called a struggle, Scrooge observed that its light was shining high and bright, and dimly connecting that with its influence over him, he seized the extinguisher cap and pressed it down upon his head with all his might. I cannot hide the light. I cannot hide the light. Scrooge barely had time to reel to bed before he sank into a heavy sleep. Now, when Scrooge awoke, he was prepared for almost anything. He was not, however, prepared for nothing, and consequently, when the clock struck 1, and no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. A quarter of an hour went by, and yet nothing. At last, however, a strange voice called him by his name and bade him enter the next room. He obeyed. Come in, know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Ooh, look upon me. It was clothed in a simple green robe bordered with white fur. This garment hung so loosely that its capacious breast was bare. Its feet, observable beneath the ample folds of the garment, were also bare. On the crown of its head it wore no other covering than a holly wreath set here and there with shining icicles. Its dark brown curls were long and free as its genial face, its sparkling eye, its joyful hand, and its joyful air. Girded round his middle was an antique scabbard, but no sword was in it, for the ancient sheath was eaten up with rust. You have never seen the like of me before. No, never. Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night and I learnt a lesson which is working now, tonight. If you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it. Ooh, profit by it. Well, touch my robe. All vanished instantly, and they stood upon the city streets on Christmas morning and went on, invisible as they had been before. Perhaps it was the good spirit's kind, generous, and hearty nature and his sympathy with all poor men that led him straight to Scrooge's clerk's, and on the threshold of the door he smiled and stopped to bless Bob Cratchit's dwelling with the sprinkling of the incense from his torch. Is there a particular flavour in what you sprinkle from your torch? There is. My own. And would it apply to any kind of dinner on this day? Well, to any kindly given to a poor one most. Why to a poor one most? Because it needs it most. Up rose Mrs. Cratchit, Bob Cratchit's wife, dressed out but poorly, and she laid the cloth, assisted by Miss Belinda Cratchit, second of her daughters, while Master Peter Cratchit plunged a fork into a saucefull of potatoes, and now 2 young Cratchits came tearing in, screaming, "We smelt the goose! We smelt the goose!" Basking in luxurious thoughts of sage and onion, the young Cratchits danced about the table, and in came little Bob, the father, his threadbare clothes darned up and brushed, luck seasonable, with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder. Alas for Tiny Tim. He bore a little crutch and had his limbs supported by an iron frame. And how did little Tim behave? Oh, as good as gold. Oh, and better. Somehow, he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much. He thinks the strangest things you ever heard. He told me, coming home, that he hoped the people saw him in the church because he was a cripple, and that it might be pleasant to them to remember on Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see. Tiny Tim's active little crutch was heard upon the floor as he was escorted by his brother and his sister to his stool before the fire, while Master Peter went to fetch the goose, with which he soon returned in high procession. Such a bustle ensued you might have thought a goose the rarest of all birds, a feathered phenomenon. And it was something very much like that in that house. Mrs. Cratchit made the gravy, Master Peter mashed the potatoes, Miss Belinda sweetened up the applesauce, Martha dusted the hot plates, Bob took Tiny Tim beside him in a tiny corner of the table, the two young Cratchits set chairs for everyone. At last, the dishes were set, grace was said. There never was such a goose. Its tenderness and flavour, size and cheapness were the themes of universal admiration. And then, pudding? At last, the cloth was cleared, the hearth swept, the fires made up, and Bob proposed, Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us. God bless us, every one, said Tiny Tim. He sat very close to his father's side upon his little stool. Bob held his withered little hand in his as if he loved the child, wanted to keep him by his side, and dreaded he might be taken from him. Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live. I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. No, kind spirit, say that he will be spared. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die. But what then? If he be like to die, he had better do it, and decrease the surplus population. Scrooge trembled before the ghost, but looked up upon hearing his own name. To Mr. Scrooge! I'll give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast. The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. Give him a piece of my mind to feast upon. I'd hope he'd have a good appetite for it. My dear, the children. It's Christmas Day. I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, but not for his. Long life to him. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt. The chestnuts went round and round, and they had a song from Tiny Tim, who had a plaintive little voice and sang very well indeed. But by this time, it was getting dark, and Scrooge and the spirit walked along the street, past the brightness of roaring fires, till they came to another house, and entered. Well, he said Christmas was a humbug, as I live. He believed it too. It was Scrooge's nephew, enjoying Christmas. The more shame for him, Fred. Oh, he's a comical old fellow. No, that's the truth. He's not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offences carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him. Oh, I'm sure he's very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so. Well, what of that, my dear? His wealth's no good to him. He don't do no good with it. Don't make himself comfortable with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking he's ever going to benefit us with it. I'm sorry for him. Couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Well, who suffers by his ill whims? Himself, always. I mean to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he can't help thinking better of it. I defy him if he finds me going there in good temper year after year and saying, Uncle Scrooge, how are you? If only puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk £50, that's something. I think I shook him yesterday. Now, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, the old man, whatever he is. He wouldn't take it from me, but may he have it nevertheless. Uncle Scrooge. The whole scene passed off in the breath of the last words spoken by his nephew, and Scrooge and the spirit were again upon their travels. Much they saw, far they went, many homes they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirit stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful. On foreign lands they were close at home by struggling men, and they were patient in their greater hope. By poverty, this was rich. In almshouse, hospital and jail, in misery's every refuge, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and barred the spirit out, he left his blessing and taught Scrooge his precepts. Standing with the spirit in an open space, Scrooge noticed the spirit. Forgive me if I'm not justified in what I ask, but I notice something strange, not belonging to yourself, protruding from your skirt. Is it a foot or a claw? It might be a claw, for the flesh there is upon it. Look here. From the foldings of his robe he brought 2 children. Wretched, abject, frightful, hideous, miserable. They knelt down at its feet and clung upon the outside of his garment. Oh, man, look here! Look, down here! They were a boy and a girl. Yellow, meagre, ragged, scowling, wolfish, but prostrate too in their humility. Where graceful youth should have filled their features out, a stale and shriveled hand like that of age had pinched and twisted and pulled them into shreds. Where angels might have sat enthroned, devils lurked and glared out menacing. No change, no degradation, no perversion of humanity. Through all the mysteries of wonderful creation has monsters half so horrible and dread. Split. Are they yours? They are man's, and they cling to me. This boy is ignorance, this girl want. Beware them both and all of their degree, but most of all, beware this boy, for on his brow I see that written which is doom. Have they no refuge or resource? Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? The clock struck 12. Scrooge looked about him for a sign of the ghost, but saw it not. And as the last stroke ceased to vibrate, he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley, and lifting up his eyes, beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming, like a mist along the ground, towards him. The phantom, slowly, gravely, silently, approached. When it came, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for in the very air through which the spirit moved, it seemed to scatter gloom and mystery. It was shrouded in a deep black garment which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible, save one outstretched hand. Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come? The spirit said nothing, but pointed onward with his hand. You are about to show me shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen. Is that not so, spirit? Lead on, spirit. The night is waning fast. It is precious time to me, I know. Lead on, spirit. The city rather seemed to spring up about them. The spirit stood beside a little knot of businessmen and pointed. Oh, I don't know much about it either way. All I know is he's dead. When did he die? Oh, last night, I believe. Oh, I thought he'd never die. What has he done with his money? Oh, I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps. He hasn't left it to me, that's all I know. Oh, it's likely to be a very cheap funeral. Upon my life, I can't think of anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer. Don't mind going, if lunch is provided. Scrooge recognised the men and looked to the spirit for an explanation. The phantom glided on and went into an obscure part of town Scrooge had never penetrated before, although he recognised its situation and its bad repute. The ways were foul and narrow, the people half naked, drunken, slipshod and ugly. Far in this den of infamous resort, there was a low-browed, beetling little shop. Sitting among the wares was a grey-haired rascal. Scrooge and the phantom came into the presence of this man as a woman carrying a heavy bundle slunk into the shop, threw her bundle on the floor and sat down in a flaunting manner on a stool.
Open that bundle, old Joe, and let me know the value of it. Speak out plain.
Old Joe went down upon his knees and, having unfastened a great many knots, dragged out a large and heavy roll of some dark stuff. What do you call this, eh? Bed curtains.
Ah, bed curtains.
Oh, you don't mean to say you took 'em down, rings and all? What? Oh, with him lying there?
Yes, I do. Why not? Every person has a right to take care of themselves. He always did.
Oh, yeah, that's true indeed. No man more so.
Well, who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose. Why wasn't he natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd had someone to look after him when he was struck with death, instead of lying, gasping out his last there, alone by himself.
Well, you were born to make your fortune.
Don't drop that oil upon his blankets now.
His blankets?
Well, whose else's do you think? He's not likely to take cold without him, I dare say.
I hope he didn't die of anything catching. His shirt?
You may look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find a hole in it, nor a threadbare place. Oh, it's the best he had, and a fine one too. They'd have wasted that if it hadn't been for me.
What do you call of wasting it?
Well, putting it on him to be buried in, to be sure. Someone was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again.
Got sheets and towels
And a little wearing apparel.
two silver teaspoons,
They're a bit old-fashioned now.
pair of sugar tongs and a few boots. Old Joe produced a flannel bag with money in it.
He frightened everyone away from when he was alive to profit us when he was dead. Spirit, I see. The case of this unhappy man might be my own. My life tends that way now.
Merciful heaven! What is this? The scene had changed, and now he almost touched a bed. A bare, uncurtained bed on which, beneath a ragged sheet, something lay covered up. Scrooge's eyes fell straight upon the bed, and on it, plundered and bereft, unwatched, unwept, uncared for, lay the body of this man. The cover was so carelessly adjusted that the slightest raising of it, the motion of a finger upon Scrooge's part, would have disclosed the face. Spirit, this is a fearful place. In leaving it, I shall not leave its lesson. Let us go. Spirit pointed with an unmoved finger towards the head. No, I understand you, and I would do it if I could, but I have not the power, Spirit. I have not the power. Let me see some tenderness connected with the death, or this dark chamber will be forever present to me. The Spirit conducted him to poor Bob Cratchit's house, and found the mother and the children seated round the fire. quiet. Very quiet. The noisy little Cratchits were still as statues in one corner, sat looking up at Peter, who had a book open before him. The mother and the daughters were engaged in sewing, but surely they were very quiet. At last, the mother spoke. "Oh, shh. No, I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father when he comes home for the world. Must be near his time now, or past it rather, but he has walked a little slower than he used these few last evenings, Mother. I have known him to walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder, very fast indeed, but then he was very light to carry him. Father loved him so that it's no trouble. It was no trouble. Oh, there's your father at the door. You went today then, Robert? Oh, yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. It was in you good to see how green a place it is, but yeah, you'll see it often. I promised him I'd walk there on a Sunday. My little child. My little child. However, whenever we part from one another, my dears, I'm sure we shall none of us forget poor Tiny Tim, shall we? And I know, my dears, that when we recollect how patient and how mild he was, even though he was a little child, we shall none of us quarrel easily amongst ourselves and forget poor Tiny Tim in doing so. Spirit, our parting moment is near at hand. I know it, but I know not how. Tell me what man that was whom we saw lying dead. Why'd you point that way? The ghost conducted him to the iron gate of a churchyard, stood among the graves, and pointed down to one. Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends to which, if persevered in, they must lead, but if the courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus what you show me. The neglected stone. The name upon it. Ebenezer Scrooge. Am I that man who lay upon the bed? No, spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been but for this intercourse. Why show me this if I'm past all hope? Good spirit, your nature intercedes for me and pities me. Assure me that I yet may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life. I will, on a Christmas in my heart, try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. No! Tell me I may sponge away the writing on this stone. In his agony he caught the spectral hand. It sought to free itself, but he detained it. The spirit, stronger, repulsed him, and holding up his hands in a last prayer to have his fate reversed, Scrooge noticed an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrunk, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost. Yes, a bedpost, and the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own, the room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven at the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, oh Jacob, on my knees. They are not torn down. The bed curtains, they are not torn down. They are here, rings and all.
I am here. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will. I don't know what to do. I was happy as an angel. I was light as a feather. I was merry as a schoolboy. I was giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby. Hello there. Hello there. What's today? What's today, my fine fellow? Today? It's Christmas Day. Oh, it's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. They can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow. Hello. Do you know the poulterers at the next street but one, at the corner? Yes. Do you know whether they have sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there? The big one. No, it's hanging up there now. Go and buy it. No, I'm in earnest. Go and buy it. Tell them to bring it here that I may give them the direction where to take it. Come back with the man. I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes. I'll give you half a crown. Oh, I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Scrooge dressed himself in all his best and at last got out into the street. He looked so irresistibly pleasant that 3 or 4 good-natured fellows said, "Well, good morning to you, sir. Merry Christmas." He'd not gone far when, coming on towards him, he beheld the portly gentleman who'd come into his counting-house the day before and said, Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. My dear sir, how do you do? A Merry Christmas to you, sir. Mr. Scrooge, yes, that's my name, and I fear it may not be very pleasant to you. I ask your pardon. I wonder, would you have the goodness to... My dear sir, are you serious? Oh, yes, please, and not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Would you do me that favour? I don't know what to say to such munificence. Oh, say nothing, please. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. In the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock. Oh, bless my soul. Fred, I've come to dinner. Would you let me in, Fred? Let him in. It's a mercy he didn't shake his arm off. Wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful food, wonderful happiness. But he was early in the office next morning. Oh, he was early there. If he could only catch Bob Cratchit coming late. And he did it. The clock struck 9, no Bob. 1:15, no Bob. He was full 18 minutes and a half behind his time. His hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter too. He was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he was trying to overtake 9 o'clock. Hello? And what do you mean by coming here at this time of day? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I am behind me time. You are? Oh, yes, I think you are. Step this way, if you please. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir. It's only once a year, sir. Now, I'll tell you what, my friend. I'm not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I am about to raise your salary. Yeah? A Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas, Bob Cratchit, my good fellow, than I've given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavour to assist your struggling family, and we'll discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking Bishop Bob. Or make up the fires and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he became a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any old city, town, or borough in the good old world. It was always said of him after, Scrooge knew how to keep Christmas well. May that be truly said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, every one.